Hello, fans! In recent days, fear and uncertainty have gripped fans and loved ones of veteran American actress Lee Grahn. Known widely for her role as Alexis Davis on the long-running soap opera General Hospital, Gran is believed to have been in Hawaii when a devastating tsunami struck the islands. A now troubling social media post placed her on a hilltop in Kauai just 2 days before all communication with her ceased. Authorities have launched an investigation amid growing concern that she may have become a victim of the deadly waves. This article explores the timeline of events, the known facts, what remains unclear, and how the story of Lee Gran's disappearance has unfolded in real time as natural disaster struck paradise. Timeline of events. Day -2, a message from the hills of Kauai. 2 days before the tsunami hit, Lee Grahn posted a status update to her social media accounts. In it, she mentioned that she was staying on the top of a hill in Kauai, signaling to followers that she was safe from any lowland flooding. While no immediate threat was present at the time, some geologic rumblings were already raising alarms with Hawaiian authorities. Nonetheless, Gran's post had a casual tone, reassuring in nature. It gave no indication of fear or urgency. Day 0. Tsunami hits Hawaii. On the day of the tsunami, around mid-morning local time, a powerful underwater earthquake triggered a series of massive waves that tore through several Hawaiian islands. The island of Kauai, where Gran had reportedly been staying, was among those impacted. While higher elevations like the one she referenced would usually offer relative safety, the power of this tsunami was exceptional. Flooding reached farther inland than expected, and in some areas, even higher ground was hit by violent water surges, debris slides, and infrastructure collapse. In the aftermath of the tsunami, Gran's social media accounts fell completely silent. Family members and friends reported being unable to reach her by phone, text, or email. The actress, usually active online and known for her outspoken presence, seemed to vanish without a trace. Family and friends sound the alarm. The silence raised immediate red flags. Gran's daughter, Kate Gran, reportedly attempted to contact her mother for over 24 hours with no success. Close friends reached out to local authorities on Kauai and asked for wellness checks at any known properties Gran might have been staying at, but none yielded results. Her team in Los Angeles confirmed they had not heard from her since before the tsunami. This is extremely out of character for Nancy, one representative said. She always checks in, especially with her daughter. We are very worried. Police involvement and escalating fears. The Kauai Police Department KPD released a statement acknowledging that they had received a missing persons report for Lee Grahn and that an investigation was underway. While they stopped short of declaring her missing formally, sources inside the department have reportedly said off the record that they suspect she may have been caught in the tsunami's aftermath. Given the extent of the damage in certain areas and the lack of communication from Ms. Gran, we have serious concerns, one officer told local media. Rescue teams and volunteers have been combing remote parts of the island. However, downed power lines, collapsed roads, and waterlogged terrain have made search efforts slow and dangerous. Helicopters have been deployed, and dogs are being used in areas that are too treacherous for people to enter. Theories and speculation. As with any high-profile disappearance, speculation has filled the gaps left by a lack of confirmed information. Some believe that Gran may have been injured and is stranded without the ability to call for help. Others worrying that she was swept away in the initial waves or a secondary mudslide, especially if she had ventured from her hilltop refuge. Conspiracy theories have, unsurprisingly, emerged in certain online communities, with baseless claims ranging from foul play to secret evacuations. These theories offer little of substance and often muddy the waters during an already difficult time. Meanwhile, fans of General Hospital have flooded social media with support, using hashtags like FindNancy and PrayForNancy to draw attention to the situation. Vigils have been organized in several cities, including Los Angeles, New York, and Honolulu. Who is Lee Grahn? For those unfamiliar, Lee Grahn is a respected figure in daytime television. Her acting career spans over 4 decades, beginning in the late 1970s. She rose to fame with roles on Santa Barbara and later General Hospital, where her portrayal of Alexis Davis earned her widespread acclaim and multiple awards. Beyond acting, Gran is known for her activism. She's been a vocal advocate for women's rights, LGBTQ+ issues, and healthcare reform. Her passionate social media presence and advocacy work have built her a loyal following far beyond traditional soap opera audiences. Her sudden disappearance is not just a personal tragedy for her family, it represents the potential loss of a cultural voice and a human being who used her platform to fight for good. The broader impact, natural disasters, and the vulnerability of remote areas. The tragedy surrounding Nancy Lee Gran's disappearance underscores a larger issue: the vulnerability of remote areas during natural disasters. While Hawaii has emergency protocols, the suddenness and magnitude of this tsunami exposed weaknesses in evacuation readiness and communication systems. In the days following the tsunami, thousands were displaced. Cell towers were knocked out. Emergency services were overwhelmed. In such an environment, even someone in a relatively safe location like a hilltop could become cut off, stranded, or worse. Authorities in Hawaii are now facing calls for increased investment in early warning systems, improved evacuation routes, and better support for isolated residents and tourists. Where things stand now. As of this writing, Nancy Lee Grahn is still unaccounted for. Search efforts continue, and the community remains hopeful, though each day without contact adds to the gravity of the situation. Her family has asked for privacy but also for public awareness. They believe someone may have seen her or heard from her in the hours after the tsunami hit. Rescue operations are ongoing in Kauai, and while officials have begun recovering bodies in some hard-hit areas, they have not confirmed any identification relating to Gran. The next few days will likely be critical in determining whether she is found alive or becomes another victim of this natural disaster. The disappearance of Nancy Lee Grahn is more than a missing person story. It is a painful reminder of how quickly nature can shatter lives. It has shaken fans, friends, and family, and brought a very personal face to the tragedy in Hawaii. Whether she is eventually found safe or not, her story highlights the need for better preparation, faster response, and greater support systems during emergencies. Until then, the world waits shopping for a miracle, fearing the worst, and holding on to every shred of hope. Next, we will dive deep into the chaotic whirlwind sweeping through Port Charles, where Drew Quartermain's seething anger following Willow Corinthos' dramatic altar snub has ignited a fierce vendetta against Nina Reeves and Portia Robinson. In the heart of this turbulent saga, Port Charles buzzes with tension as Drew unleashes his fury, firmly believing that Nina and Portia orchestrated a sinister plot to sabotage his life by spiking his drink with ketamine. This explosive accusation stems from the humiliating video that surfaced, capturing Drew in a compromising position with the enigmatic call girl Jacinda, which he insists was no accident but a calculated frame job. Desperate to reclaim Willow's affections, Drew is plotting a ruthless comeback, aiming to unmask what he sees as their devious conspiracy. His motivations run deep, fueled by the conviction that Nina, Willow's own mother, maliciously whispered the truth about their steamy summer fling to shatter the wedding. Adding fuel to the fire, Curtis Ashford dropped a bombshell revelation about Nina's illicit affair and Portia's underhanded involvement in blackmail tactics, which ultimately prompted Willow to bolt from the ceremony in heartbreak. Now, as whispers of revenge echo through the town, questions loom. Could Drew's aggressive pursuit dismantle Nina and Portia's worlds entirely? Or might it spiral into a catastrophic misstep that leaves him more isolated than ever? To enrich this narrative, imagine the added layer of Drew discovering cryptic messages on his phone that hint at a larger network of conspirators, perhaps even tying back to old Quartermain family rivalries, heightening the stakes and making his quest for justice feel like a high-stakes thriller unfolding in real time. Drew's rage has transformed into a full-blown vendetta, shattering his once stable world when Willow abandoned him at the altar upon learning the gritty details of his entangled nights with Nina last summer, courtesy of Curtis's unflinching honesty. General Hospital enthusiasts are abuzz online, dissecting every nuance of Drew's vengeful pivot, with many speculating that his obsession borders on the obsessive. Convinced beyond doubt that Nina and Portia slipped him ketamine to paint him as an irresponsible playboy evidenced by that infamous footage with Jacinda, Drew sees this as open season to target Willow's mother without mercy. His strategy is multifaceted. By leaking irrefutable evidence of their alleged scheme, he hopes to sever any fragile ties Nina might salvage with Willow, while simultaneously torpedoing Portia's prestigious role as co-chief of staff at the hospital, potentially exposing ethical breaches that could lead to investigations and public scrutiny. Delving deeper, let's consider how Drew might enlist unlikely allies, such as a tech-savvy contact from his past military days, to hack into digital trails that could prove the drugging incident, adding a modern espionage twist to the drama. It's worth noting that fan forums are divided. A vocal minority pines for some redemption arc between Drew and Willow, envisioning heartfelt apologies amid shared custody battles. But the majority dismisses any reunion, pointing to Drew's deceptive history with Michael Corinthos that already fractured Willow's family unit, including the painful fallout over her children. This betrayal lingers like a shadow, raising doubts about whether Drew's fiery temper will yield triumph or merely amplify his losses, perhaps even alienating potential supporters in Port Charles who view his actions as unhinged and self-destructive. As Drew gears up for a brutal counterattack, Nina and Portia find themselves squarely in his crosshairs, bracing for confrontations loaded with accusations of foul play. Picture the scene: Nina, her face ashen and her voice trembling with feigned innocence, vehemently denies any involvement in the ketamine ploy, perhaps weaving in tales of her own past victimizations to deflect blame. Meanwhile, Portia, beads of sweat betraying her composure, grapples with the terror of losing not just her high-profile hospital position, but also the stability of her marriage to Curtis, who might uncover even more skeletons in her closet. Drew could tip the scales in his favor by presenting Willow with concrete proof, such as eyewitness accounts from Jacinda herself, or lab results confirming the drug's presence in his system, positioning him as the wrong hero in contrast to the scheming duo. Yet, this path is fraught with peril. Nina's cunning evasions, drawing on her media empire resources to spin counter-narratives in Crimson magazine, and Portia's frantic alliances with hospital board members could ignite a chain reaction of scandals, ensnaring innocent bystanders like Trina Robinson in the crossfire. Inventing a fresh angle, suppose Drew uncovers a hidden audio recording from a shadowy informant that captures Portia discussing the plot in hushed tones, escalating the drama to include potential legal ramifications like lawsuits or even arrests. Will these women outsmart Drew's onslaught through clever alibis and forged documents, or are they teetering on the brink of ruin, their carefully constructed lives unraveling thread by thread in the face of his relentless pursuit? Ultimately, with Drew's vendetta rampaging forward, the destinies of Nina and Portia dangle precariously. While the bigger question persists, can he truly recapture Willow's heart by dismantling their supposed betrayal, making himself appear as the lesser evil compared to her manipulative mother? Or will his schemes implode spectacularly? Tracy Quartermain's sharp-tongued jabs at Drew's misfortunes only amplify the pressure, mocking his every misstep and highlighting how his fixation on revenge might blind him to genuine paths of healing. Expanding on this, envision Tracy secretly maneuvering behind the scenes, perhaps offering Drew unsolicited advice laced with her signature sarcasm, which could either guide him toward clarity or push him deeper into chaos, introducing familial tensions that ripple through the Quartermain estate. His desperate bids for Willow's attention made through anonymous gifts symbolizing their shared past or public declarations of reform risk backfiring, reminding her of the heartache he inflicted and potentially costing him alliances with figures like Carly Spencer, who has her own axes to grind. Fans are left pondering the fallout. Might Nina and Portia weather this storm by forming an uneasy pact, pooling their wits to expose Drew's own flaws? Or will his determination drag them all into an abyss of mutual destruction? Next, we will learn about the escalating family drama in Port Charles. Where Lulu Spencer and Dante Falconeri's overprotective stance toward their son Rocco is inadvertently drawing him deeper into the intriguing world of Liesl Obrecht. In the bustling heart of Port Charles, where secrets simmer and alliances shift like the tides, the Spencer Falconeri family finds itself at the center of a brewing storm. Lulu and Dante, ever the vigilant parents, have been holding Rocco close, shielding him from what they perceive as potential emotional pitfalls. However, this very caution is creating an unintended rift, propelling the young boy toward his grandmother Liesl Obrecht, whose enigmatic tales and unfiltered affection offer a stark contrast to the structured life at home. Liesl, with her sharp wit and storied past, represents a gateway to unexplored family lore, particularly stories about her daughter Britt Westburn, whose shocking survival has sent ripples through the community. As whispers of Britt's return grow louder, the question looms, will Lulu and Dante recognize the dangers of their tight grip, or will it only accelerate Rocco's quest for independence? Adding to the complexity, recent sightings of familiar faces in distant locales, like Jason Morgan's unexpected appearance at a Paris airport, hint at larger conspiracies that could entwine with the family's fate, making every decision feel like a high-stakes gamble in this soap opera saga. Laura Spencer's sage advice to her daughter Lulu echoes through the corridors of family discord, yet it seems destined to be overlooked amid the chaos. Laura, drawing from her own wealth of experiences as a matriarch who's navigated countless betrayals and reunions, has urged Lulu to foster rather than hinder Rocco's connection to Liesl. She warns that barring access could ignite a spark of defiance in the boy, much like the rebellious streaks that have defined generations of Spencers. Imagine Rocco, at an impressionable age, piecing together fragments of his extended family's stories of Britt's bravery in medical crises, her daring escapades against villains like Peter August, and now the bombshell revelation that she's alive and possibly plotting her comeback. Laura envisions a scenario where Rocco's natural curiosity morphs into obsession, especially if details of Britt's survival leak out, perhaps through overheard conversations at the hospital or cryptic messages from afar. This could be compounded by Liesl's vivid storytelling sessions, where she paints Britt as a heroic figure, complete with invented anecdotes of her daughter's triumphs over adversity, like outsmarting foes in underground labs or forging unlikely alliances. Fans have speculated that Lulu's echoes of her own youthful stubbornness remember her past clashes with authority figures might blind her to the impending backlash. Will she pivot and embrace a more open approach, allowing supervised visits that could strengthen family bonds? Or is she unwittingly scripting a narrative of teenage revolt that could see Rocco sneaking out under the cover of night to seek Liesl's counsel? The tension builds as Laura's words hang in the air, a potential lifeline ignored in the heat of parental instinct. As Rocco's fascination with Liesl intensifies, it's clear that the magnetic pull of her world is becoming harder for him to resist, setting the stage for clandestine encounters that could redefine his loyalties. Picture the boy, wide-eyed and eager, absorbing Liesl's embellished accounts of Britt's life tales of her as a brilliant doctor who once saved lives during a citywide crisis, or her romantic entanglements that added layers of intrigue to the Westburn legacy. Liesl, ever the opportunist, might even introduce new elements to her narratives, like fictional letters from Britt detailing her adventures in hiding, or mementos such as a locket containing a photo from Britt's supposed lost years. This growing bond is fueled by Rocco's innate desire to understand his roots, especially now that Britt's confirmed aliveness has transformed her from a ghostly memory into a living enigma. Social media buzz, particularly on platforms like Facebook, is abuzz with predictions that Rocco will escalate his defiance, perhaps by skipping school to meet Liesl at her favorite cafe or hacking into family emails for clues about Britt's whereabouts. Dante, with his detective background, might sense the shifts but struggle to intervene without alienating his son further. Liesl, reveling in her role as the unconventional grandmother, is likely to encourage this exploration, whispering encouragements that paint Lulu and Dante's roles as overly restrictive barriers to truth. Could Lulu finally grasp the wisdom in Laura's counsel, perhaps after a heartfelt family therapy session or a surprising revelation from an old ally? Or will her unyielding resolve push Rocco even deeper into Liesl's sphere, where he discovers not just stories, but perhaps hidden talents or secrets that mirror Britt's own resilient spirit? The drama unfolds with each passing episode, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. The ultimate fear gripping Lulu and Dante is the possibility of losing Rocco not just to Liesl's influence, but to the enduring legacy of Britt Westburn, whose shadow looms larger than ever in Port Charles. Their family unit, once a bastion of stability amid the town's perpetual upheavals, now teeters on the brink as Rocco's drift toward this alternative maternal figure threatens to shatter the fragile peace. Laura's persistent warnings serve as a beacon, advocating for a balanced approach where Rocco can safely explore his connections without severing ties at home, maybe through joint family outings or mediated discussions that demystify Britt's past. Yet, Lulu's protective instincts, honed by years of personal losses like the heartbreak of her own medical ordeals and relational turmoils, make it challenging for her to relent. Invent a scenario where Britt's return involves a dramatic entrance, perhaps crashing a hospital gala with revelations that tie into Rocco's lineage, amplifying his sense of belonging elsewhere. On one side, there's empathy for Lulu's fears, rooted in the desire to shield her child from the pain of absentee figures and the town's notorious dangers, such as mob entanglements or supernatural threats that have plagued General Hospital for decades. On the other, her controlling tendencies risk alienating Rocco, potentially leading to explosive confrontations, like a heated argument where he declares his intent to learn more about Britt independently. As Britt potentially steps back into the spotlight, alive and transformed by her experience made with new alliances formed in exile or skills acquired in foreign medical fields, stakes rise. Will Lulu adapt, perhaps by initiating open dialogues that include Liesl's perspectives, fostering unity rather than division? Or will she face the harsh lesson of watching her son rebel, drawn inexorably to the allure of Britt's world? Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital for the latest spoilers and developments, as this storyline promises twists that could redefine family dynamics for everyone involved, including surprise cameos and emotional reckonings that keep fans hooked.